win now.
Money.
No, you're going in Ohio. Man, watch me! Ah, yo! No, I got slap you in my face. No, Evermoon, it's yours. Hi, 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 hi. Almost, almost. Where are you? Get someone. What? Whammy! Go whammy! You're 60 old. Oh, but it's not. How is it? My shark is not. Shark baby. Shark baby. Shark baby. Shark. Shark baby. Shark. Shark baby. With chaps. Shots. Spotted. Again. The spotted. Again. Spotted. Turkey. Nice. You boy down. You calm down. It's Bronze. Run, you man.
Don't pause. Press play. Don't pause. Press play. Don't pause. Press play. Don't pause. Don't pause. Press play.
How is the new mouse? New mouse. Dirty. Ball. What? What? Mom.
Don't pause.
No.
Press play. Don't pause. Press play. Don't pause. Press play. Don't pause.
This is not. Oh my God. Huh? We're chicken and chili.
Calm down.
Bruh.
What gender are you? Male?
Jangan tangan naik. Just now Antina come here.
Attracted to
What you saying is nothing.
prankster.
You see Antina or not?
Silly. Still male though.
You see Antina? Tadi datang kucing naik. Hah?
Eyeing everywhere. Okay. Eyeing.
Sit down. Ada Antina yang money, ngasih money to you. Huh?
Pinabatan lapangan.
Amin.
Sini. Hah? Kita sini.
I think ghost.
It's nothing.
Apa ya?
I just a rank in my cup my neck.
Jauh. Iya.
Just waking up. Okay. No. Bacon half. This bacon now.
Apa kita
The
kopi
bacon
dulu itu?
is half. It's really. It looks like fucking bacon. Okay. Wait. Oh, let's roll.
Coba kipas dia keluar ya. Enak banget, banyak lalat, banyak apa.
What for? Oh. Let's do this. What? Is that? Oh no. Okay. Oh. Oh, look at the fun. Okay. Ah. Safe.
Ini sama kamu ya, rasa nasi itu juga masak.
I see.
Ya, baik, ya baik.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another.
Mana ini anak?
2.105.
Kau kirim berapa dia deh?
Segede doang. Ini mah. Pas dia pengiriman.
Because tonight will be the night that I will fall for you. Don't make me change my mind. I will. Because tonight will be.
Ini Sirma ya?
Kenapa?
Ini Sirma ya? Tapi kita di rumah nanti pulangnya lambat-lambat. Di mana kebiasaan gitu ya. Makanlah. Itu ya sampo sih.
concept. I like it a lot.
Saya bikin gula.
Dia bilang. Gede pak. Kan? Orang skater.
Baru juga skater. JP lah ya kok tunjukin sama aku.
Baru ya, ini kan penggunaan.
Udah beres.
Hey.
Ntar video aja begini.
Makan gula.
Ntar ada yang jangan ntar kalian. Oke lagi. Enggak bentar bentar.
Oke, iya jelek aja
Ya,
dulu.
ya. Aku nggak bisa bawa motor kalau mau ke bawah.
Kita makan gula.
Makan dulu. Hah? Ini bawa kopi. Singkong. Ini singkong.
Yes, I got the last PS5.
Begitu 3 hari juga nggak apa-apa.
Sir. Yes, I got the last PS5. Excuse me, sir. What?
Ya kan ini ada rezekinya. Aku kasih
What do
kerja.
you want? I know you got the last PS5. But my dad's been in the hospital. He only has 3 months to live. I promised my dad a PS5. Please, sir, can I have your PS5?
Sama orang kok kasihan.
Kita kan, nah,
Kok marahin aku pula?
kan aku bilang kita kan.
Tinggal ku marah. Marah.
lagi.
Itu yang namanya dari lapangan. Kalau di kantor kan kena AC. Lah itu di
Agak
lapangan.
hitam pun dapat duit mah agak lah.
Makanya kalau di lapangan itu mau masuk dia bilang bukan.
Bukan. Ini menurut aku ya satu doang ya kan. Nah, dapat lah. Kalau di lapangan aku siap juga di lapangan aku pakai masker. Pakai apa? Biar jangan gosok.
Kita terus aku.
Cepet. Mami masak enak.
Ya.
Ya. Ini chicken inside the kandang kuah tuh chicken. You go and take chicken kuah lah inside the kandang.
Kamu mau apa?
Peter Griffin got
Fred
tricked in
your
season
chicken.
14, episode
I'm gonna
17. Peter got tricked by the
cut
Peter
your
Catcher, thinking he would
Okay.
get candy.
I don't understand.
Then you can eat chicken.
Next,
I
he was
don't
tricked by a
understand.
mongoose who stole his eggs,
No,
and then
it's
got tricked
never.
by a mongoose.
Bagus lah.
Next, he set up a trap, but fell. 5 times Peter Griffin got tricked. In season 14, episode 17, Peter got tricked by the Peter Catcher, thinking he would get candy.
I'm gonna get so molested.
Next, he was tricked by a mongoose who stole his eggs, and then got tricked by a mongoose.
Mongoose!
Emang murah mah nggak jualan lagi apa?
Monkeys!
Next, he set up a trap, but fell for it himself.
Oh, a dollar!
In season 10, episode 7, we have the time he tried rice cakes thinking that they would be good. Lastly, Peter tried to help a kid get his money back from a gumball machine, not realizing it was a setup before it was too late.
It was set up too, huh?
5 times Peter Griffin.
Belanja.
The 5 best Peter Griffin clones in Family Guy. In season 21, episode 16, we see a hologram clone that replaces Peter in his daily life and tries to get rid of the real Peter. At number 4, we have the Terminator clone sent from the future to hunt down Stewie. In season 2, episode 21, we witness a robot clone of Peter where Lois aims at the wrong one.
You made the right choice, honey.
What
was that? Nothing.
In season 13, episode 3, we have the mirror clone who is tricked by Peter to swap places. At number 1, after Peter loses his hand, a clone called Retep is generated from it.
My name is Retep, and
The 5 funniest Peter Griffin lookalikes in Family Guy. At number 5, while Peter attempted to carry on LeBron's legacy, he bumped into a doppelganger version of him and ended up marrying her. In season 13, episode 16, we saw a couple of cafe workers who resembled Peter.
He doesn't look that much like me.
The 5 funniest zoo moments in Family Guy. In season 3, the five funniest zoo moments in Family Guy. In season 3, episode 13, Peter decides to crawl into a kangaroo's pouch for a ride. At number 4, Peter talks about a panda hiding from the zoo.
I'm hiding from the zoo. They want me to have a baby. I don't want to have a baby.
At number 3, Brian puts some food in Stewie's pocket, causing the zoo animals to chase him around. At number 2, Brian gets tricked into entering the animal cages, while Peter performs stand-up comedy for the hyenas.
Elephants are asking for a raise. Yeah, they're tired of working for peanuts.
At number 1, we have Peter at the aquarium drawing a funny face on the octopus while tapping on the glass, causing the glass to break.
So sucky and
The 5 funniest jobs Quagmire had in Family Guy. In season 12, episode 20, he was a part-time magician, entertaining kids with his tricks. At number 4, he used to work at Mort's. The 5 funniest times Peter used Stewie. At number 5, it was revealed that Peter had used Stewie as a lumbar pillow.
this thing works better in the car.
At number 4, Peter used him as an iPad holder so that he could watch Netflix while taking a dump. At number 3, Peter used parts of Stewie's crib to make a cross for Lois.
Hated him.
At number 2, after finding out that Chris's pickle was bigger, Peter became insecure and stuffed Stewie in his pants to make his own pickle look bigger. The top 5 times the Griffin's house got destroyed. At number 5, after Brian got sprayed with a skunk, he scared away the termites which made up most of the house structure. At number 4, Peter used his pitching machine on the toilet, which ended up flooding the house.
And I'm waking up outside again. Gotta sleep to grow, guys.
In season 18, episode 3, after Stewie found out that his trophies were participation trophies, he burnt down the house. At number 2, Peter attempted to make the house an indoor air balloon and destroyed Cleveland's house as well. At number 1, Peter broke parts of the house to build a club in the backyard.
What is this? There's something wrong with the house. I don't like change.
Top 5 times the 5 funniest Indian moments in Family Guy. At number 5, we see Peter tackling the priest, thinking he was being the 5 funniest Japanese moments in Family Guy. In season 10, episode 11, they showed an octopus chasing a girl, which is a big part of the Japanese culture. At number 4, Peter went on a wacky Japanese game show and ended up losing his limbs.
Game is still going on?
At number 3, Lois mentioned that Meg ran the 5 best Peter Griffin cousins we've seen. At number 5, Peter talked about his cousin JC the 5 best Peter Griffin cousins we've seen. At number 5, Peter talked about his cousin JC Dugard Griffin, who was being kept in a shed.
Grandpa, Daddy, husband, my belly hurts again.
At number 4, we saw Peter's cousin, Peter the Pig, telling the wolf not to blow his house down as he had just taken a dump. At number 3, we have Peter's cousin Rufus, who used to star in films and appeared in Back to the Future. At number 5 funniest South Korean moments in Family Guy. At number 5, we have Samsung, their number 1 brand, featuring a giant phone that transforms into a tiny Kia car. In season 21, episode 16, we have a reference to their hit show Squid Games.
You guys were right. Murdering strangers is better than paying my credit card bill.
At number 3, we have Peter getting plastic surgery while in Korea, making his eye bigger and chin and nose tiny for the Korean beauty standards. At number 2, we have the next BDS group in the 5 funniest Peter Griffin ancestors. At number 5, we have Thomas Griffin, who was a great philosopher.
Thomas, would you please go look for a job?
Why?
At number 4, we have the King of Denmark, Peter, who enjoyed eating and making his table longer to compensate for something else. In season 7, episode 16, we have Griffin Peterson, who was the true founder of Quahog. In season 16, episode 16, we saw Peter's parents and even saw his ancestor, Asian Griffin. The 5 funniest animator moments in Family Guy. In season 15, episode 10, after Peter messes up his eye, a Korean animator fixes it for him.
Thank you, Korean sweatshop animator. You've earned your nickel this week.
At number 4, we have the Family Guy animator turning the guys into X-Men characters. At number 3, when Peter talks about the network possibly cutting their budget, the animation changes to choppy moments. At number 2, we have the battle between the Hornets and Owls, which was too expensive to animate, so it was replaced with stock footage of an old plane. At number 1, Peter and Lois get stuck in traffic because the Family Guy animator didn't finish the road, and we see the animator sleeping. The 5 funniest animator moments in Family Guy. In season 15, episode 10, after Peter messes up his eye, a Korean animator fixes it for him.
Thank you, Korean sweatshop animator. You've earned your nickel this week.
At number 4, we have the Family Guy animator turning the guys into X-Men characters. At number 3, when Peter talks about the network possibly cutting their budget, the animation changes to choppy moments. At number 2, we have the battle between the Hornets and Owls, which was too expensive to animate, so it was replaced with stock footage of an old plane. At number 1, Peter and Lois get stuck in traffic because the Family Guy animator didn't finish the road, and we see the animator sleeping. The 5 times Family Guy roasted British people. At number 5, they roasted how British people have conversations and the way they speak during them.
Oh dear, what is it? I've spontaneously combusted. I am sorry. Oh, it's quite a...
The top 5 sports Peter Griffin has played. At number 5, we have seen Peter play basketball throughout the series and even dunk on Meg.
Check that she can get dunked.
The 5 worst things that happened to Joe Swanson. In season 21, episode 10, the military beamed a laser at him because he knew too much about them.
He was asking too many.
The 5 funniest Principal Shepard moments. In season 20, episode 16, he decided to join Squid Game again.
You guys were right. Murdering strangers is better than paying my credit card bill.
In season 17, episode 20, he used his coffee breath to escape from the guys. At number 3, during another top 5 sports Stewie Griffin has played. In season 15, episode 15, Stewie played football but ended up getting 5 more of the worst things happened to Stewie Griffin. At number 5, while Lois was tickling Stewie, she ended up vomiting on him. At number 4, while Peter was mowing the lawn, he left Stewie in his baby seat, causing him to get hit by the rocks flying off the screen.
You can tell from all the very many rocks. Look at them fly.
At number 3, after becoming a child star, Peter and Lois overworked Stewie and gave him a special drink to prepare him for his roles. At number 2, Chris and Peter broke the TV, causing Stewie to have a complete meltdown. At number 1, Peter kept Stewie in his pants to make it look like his pickle was big. 5 times we saw a young version of Quagmire. At number 5, we witnessed Quagmire getting picked on in high school. In season 13, episode 10, while discussing his past in court, we saw him learning the ABCs in preschool through the names of partners his mom had.
Art, Bob, Chet, Don, Ed, Frank, Gus.
At number 3, we saw his early life of growing up and becoming a tennis player like his family. At number 2, during his early adult days, he acted in a Korean soap opera and a French comedy show. In season 3, episode 21, we saw him in the nursery with the guys and he met Lois for the 5 worst things that happened to Lois Griffin. At number 5, Lois tried to take some pictures for social media, but she ended up falling off a cliff.
Oh, that's not usually how cliffs work.
At number 4, Peter threw hot grease at her, which sent Lois to the hospital in a full cast. At number 3, Lois was slowly replaced in the family by Alana and was eventually kidnapped. At number 2, Lois was framed for Connie's death and sent to prison. In season 21, episode 17, she received a negative review on Airbnb for stealing, which sent her into a total meltdown and prompted her to come up with a master plan to get it removed, showing how crazy she is.
I am a secret little psycho with very little to lose.
5 times Peter Griffin had superpowers. At number 5, he got so high that he was able to travel through dimensions. At number 4, he was able to regenerate his hand after losing it and generated a clone called Retep.
My name is Retep, and I am evil.
At number 3, he gained radioactive powers during his fight with Homer. At number 2, after being exposed to toxic waste, he was able to shapeshift into different objects and people. At number 1, in a deleted scene, he gained wizard powers but gave them back as he failed his master.
I am not worthy.
You are not. 5 times we saw Quagmire's children. At number 5, after getting married to a giraffe, he had a child.
Giraffity. Yes, see, that's not mine.
At number 4, while picking up Peter from school, we saw several kids who looked like Quagmire. At number 3, it was revealed that he had a son in Spain who was married. At number 2, after taking a girl home, he did an emergency DNA test and found out that she was his daughter, named Court. 5 times Family Guy roasted Europe. At number 5, they made fun of construction workers in Paris using their jackhammers.
Is a Jacques Hammer.
The 5 best times we saw a young version of Peter Griffin. In Season 2, Episode 20, we saw Peter in the past on a school trip, asking an important question.
Why did all the dinosaurs die out? Because you touch yourself at night.
In Season 7, Episode 15, we see teenage Peter going on an adventure with the guys. At number 3, we have Kid Peter declining candy from a van, missing out on lifetime candy, but luckily the opportunity came around once more for him. At number 2, we have the time when he was in preschool with the guys and met Lois for the first time. At number 1, he was playing with toys and we were introduced to his broster.
Hey, Peter, you want to see my vaginas?
I don't know. The 5 best times we saw, 5 times the Griffins got replaced. In Season 21, Episode 16, after Chris couldn't pass the Prove You're Not a Robot CAPTCHA, it was revealed that Chris had been replaced by a robot.
Abort mission. Greetings, sibling.
At number 4, the real Peter was replaced by a vanilla ice cream Peter. In Season 11, Episode 21, after the real Brian Griffin jumped, he was replaced by the teleportation clone version. At number 2, during the Peter family reunion, Meg was replaced by a Russian clone.
Meg, where are you? Right here, Mom.
At number 1, we have Stewie being replaced by the evil version of himself after Brian targeted the wrong one. 5 times the Griffins got replaced. In Season 21, Episode 16, after Chris, the 5 best versions of Chris Griffin in the future. At number 5, he ended up becoming a bus driver whom parents don't trust. The top 5 best versions of Stewie Griffin in the future. At number 5, we have buff Stewie Griffin. At number 4, we have Grandpa Stewie telling a story to the kids when they start asking some questions about his partner.
The kids at school were asking you for about him more time.
They should not be asking that.
At number 3, we have rich old Stewie who got his revenge on his family. At number 2, we have the version who crossed paths with younger Stewie and accidentally brought him into the future, revealing how terrible his life actually was. At number 1, we have old Stewie who is clueless about technology.
Don't holler at me. I don't understand anything.
Top 5 countries Family Guy roasted. At number 5, they made fun of Israel with a bunch of warts collecting the pennies.
Somebody take a picture.
In Season 14, Episode 20, they roasted what India looked like as well as their transport system. At number 3, they made fun of England by giving all the British people wonky teeth and crooked noses.
I'm about the Queen now.
5 times Family Guy made fun of Italian people. At number 5, after Peter grew a mustache, he attempted to speak Italian. 5 funniest sport moments in Family Guy. At number 5, we have Quagmire competing in a tennis tournament in New York and caused 9/11 with his first serve.
My second serve was no better.
At number 4, the guys hired a hooker just so that she could be the goalie. At number 3, we have the iconic 100-meter run.
Thought they were coming after us.
At number 2, Chris went through the entire NFL experience within seconds. Top 5 dumbest things. Top 5 Homer Simpson appearances in Family Guy. At number 5, we see Stewie chasing Homer down with his tricycle.
Hey, Stewie. What the hell is that?
At number 4, we have an entire episode dedicated to The Simpsons, with Homer fighting Peter. At number 3, we witnessed a crossover event where Peter entered Bob's Burgers, with Homer present but not speaking due to Disney not having enough funds to pay for the voice actor. At number 2, the mob made it clear that they did not want Simpson in town anymore.
I love you like we did in 1993.
At number 1, we have the famous Homer Bush meme. Top 5 Homer Simpson 5 wholesome things Stewie Griffin has done. In the first episode of Family Guy, he used his mind control device on a judge to save Peter from going to jail. In Season 9, Episode 1, he saved Lois's life by sniping Diane Simmons.
But it's gonna take that Down, it's gonna be me.
Sabodo.
At number 3, Stewie took Chris back in time to help him pass his history exam. At number 2, he faked Brian's death in a fire to show that he mattered to the rest of the Griffins. At number 1, he went back in time to save Brian from getting hit by a car, sacrificing that timeline of himself in the process. 5 interesting things about Chris Griffin. In season 21, episode 16, 5 more times Family Guy roasted America. In season 11, episode 9, they roasted the University of Florida.
We're stopping at that Down syndrome camp we passed.
Top 5 talking dogs in Family Guy. In season 18, we have George Townsend, who attempted to get Brian neutered as revenge after abandoning him for Peter.
Oh my god, they got one! Oh, you still have one?
Next up, we have Vinny, who replaced Brian after his death. At number 3, we have Jasper, who is Brian's cousin and has made a few top 5 Disney references in Family Guy. At number 5, we have Winnie the Pooh stuck in a hole with Rabbit trying to push him out.
Push with your shoulder and not your fist. Don't worry about it.
In season 4, episode 1, we see Japan.
Jangan di situ aja lah, tahu di slot lagi. Apa aja tadi malam 20 pundek 700.
Season 4, episode 1, we see Geppetto bending over and trying to get Pinocchio to lie.
I wouldn't lie to you.
You could try. Who knows, you might get away with it.
Next, we have Popeye in the hospital finding out that he has a tumor. In season 8, Stewie and Brian traveled to the Disney universe and became Disney characters. In season 20, when Stewie was sent to detention, he saw Bart writing about Disney on the board and became possessed by Mickey Mouse.
Oh, that is such a load of truth! A wonderful load of truth!
Top 5 Disney reference. The 5 worst relationships Meg Griffin had. At number 5, we have Justin, who seemed normal but ended up having no legs.
He ain't got no legs.
Next up, we have Anthony, who cheated on Meg with Lois. At number 3, we have Luke, who escaped from prison but was caught again by Joe, causing Meg to also be imprisoned for help 5 times Peter. The 5 worst relationships Meg Griffin had. At number 5, we have Justin, who seemed normal but ended up having no legs.
He ain't got no legs.
Next up, we have Anthony, who cheated on Meg with Lois. At number 3, we have Luke, who escaped from prison but was caught again by Joe, causing Meg to 5 times Peter. The 5 worst relationships Meg Griffin had. At number 5, we have Justin, who seemed normal but ended up having no legs.
He ain't got no legs.
Next up, we have Anthony, who cheated on Meg with Lois. At number 3, we have Luke, who escaped from prison but was caught again by Joe, causing Meg to also be imprisoned for helping him. Next, we have Brian, who Meg became obsessed with after their school dance date.
Sorry, that was the booze, not you.
At number 1, we have Toby, who stole Meg's kidney
So what should we do next?
but kindly returned it after spending a day together. The 5 worst relationships Meg Griffin had. At number 5, we have Justin, who seemed normal but ended up having no legs.
He ain't got no legs.
Next up, we have Anthony, who cheated on Meg with Lois. At number 3, we have Luke, who escaped from prison but was caught again by Joe, causing Meg to also be imprisoned for helping him. Next, we have Brian, who Meg became obsessed with after their school dance date.
Sorry, that was the booze, not you.
At number 1, we have Toby, who stole Meg's kidney
So what should we do next?
but kindly returned it after spending a day together. The 5 times Peter Griffin was a piece of food. In a past life, Peter used to be a strawberry and was violated by a worm.
He was my neighbor, and he violated me.
In season 17, the real Peter appeared as a vanilla ice cream. Next up, he turned himself into a waffle so he could sneak out of the top 5 inventions by Peter. The 5 dumbest things Brian Griffin has done. In season 21, episode 5, the 5 dumbest things Brian Griffin has done. In season 21, episode 15, he went inside the 5 best Muppet. The 5 dumbest things Brian Griffin has done. In season 21, episode 15, he went inside the animal encounters after getting tricked by them thinking that they read his book. In season 18, episode 20, he tried to sue Stewie but obviously failed since.
The dog is an idiot. The baby wins.
In season 9, episode 4, he thought his reflection was another dog. Next up, we have the time when he ignored the mistreatment of kids for a chance with Miss Emily. At number 1, he decided to work with a dodgy company despite knowing that they used dog meat and he paid the price for it later.
Now, I'm not sure if I'm saying this right, but
5 best Muppet references in Family Guy. In season 5, top 5 vehicles Peter Griffin. 5 best Muppet references in Family Guy. In season 5, episode 1, we see Kermit the Frog in a Louisiana swamp.
you know how to get to town.
Yeah, it's back the way you came.
In season 4, episode 10, we witness the Cookie Monster in rehabilitation, while later on being caught smoking cookie dough. In season 16, episode 15, Stewie discusses Elmo's expired court case.
No comment.
In season 15, episode 1, we have Miss Piggy talking about Kermit the Frog.
Had a frog in my throat. Right, Jeremy? Please stop drinking.
And top 5 vehicles Peter Griffin had. In season 20, we have Peter's plane, which he invented.
Cocaine plane.
Next, we have the Peter Rang, which technically took him to his destination.
Just for the record, I was at the hospital for a brief moment.
In number 3, we have the Hinden Peter, which he ended up crashing. At number 2, we have the tank Peter bought at the dealership instead of buying a car for Meg. And at number 1, we have the iconic Peter Copter.
Oh god! Oh god! Oh god! Oh my god!
Top 5 vehicles Peter Griffin had. In season 20, we have Peter's plane, which he invented.
Cocaine plane!
Next, we have the Peter Rang, which technically took him to his destination.
Just for the record, I was at the hospital for a brief moment.
In number 3, we have the Hinden Peter, which he ended up crashing. At number 2, we have the tank Peter bought at the dealership instead of buying a car for Meg. And at number 1, we have the iconic Peter Copter.
Oh god! Oh god! Oh god! Oh my god!
Top 5 vehicles. Top 5 times the Griffins were rich. In season 1, episode 1, Peter applied for welfare, but due to an error, he was given top 5 best Family Guy villains. At number 5, we have Retep, Peter's evil clone.
What's that big rock doing there?
At number 4, we have Evil Stewie. At number 3, we have Carter Pewterschmidt, a cold-hearted businessman who will stop at nothing to make a profit.
Okay, I guess you don't want a new family, toys, and a puppy.
At number 2, we have Penelope, who wanted world domination and to get rid of Brian. At number 1, we have Ernie the Chicken, Peter's greatest nemesis. Top 5 best Family Guy. Top 5 best superhero moments in Family Guy. In season 16, episode top 5 jobs Lois Griffin had. In season 9, episode 5, she became a boxer. In season 11, episode 14, she worked as a call girl and was called by Quagmire.
Ball that up and stick it in your mouth. Now, what else you got there?
At number 3, she managed to get a job at the Postal Service and was working with Cleveland. In her own Family Guy reboot episode, she gave herself a corporate job. In season 5, top 5 worst things that happened to Chris Griffin. In season 11, top 5 jobs Lois Griffin had. In season 9, episode 5, she became a boxer. In season 11, episode 14, she worked as a call girl and was called by Quagmire.
Ball that up and stick it in your mouth. Now, what else you got there?
At number 3, she managed to get a job at the Postal Service and was working with Cleveland. In her own Family Guy reboot episode, she gave herself a corporate job. In season 5, episode 17, she became the mayor.
No, wait, even if you're queer. No Jews, though. Okay, Jews.
But like many politicians, top 5 worst things that happened to Chris Griffin. In season 11, episode 13, he was blackmailed by Meg. In season 14, episode 3, he became a registered offender.
Children, run! It's that pervert! Everybody into my safety basement!
In season 4, episode 13, Lois got some older kids to beat him up since he was a freshman. After swapping roles with Peter, he was overwhelmed by stress and suffered a heart attack. In season 19, after Stewie found out that Chris owned Rupert, Stewie attempted to drown him. Top 5 more pets Peter Griffin owned. In season 16, episode 3, Peter bought a bunch of goats from Craigslist, which ended up destroying the house. At number 4, we have Todd Griffin, who was 15 years old.
Oh, you're not taking me to the vet, are you?
No, just a nice day at the park.
Next, we have Vinny, who replaced Brian after his death for a few episodes. In season 8, we have the lion that Peter picked from the zoo, Montecore,
The lion now.
and was reunited with him in season 16. Lastly, 5 more Family Guy animation mistakes you missed. In one scene, Peter wears his glove on his left hand and has the bag strap over his left shoulder. However, in the next scene, the glove and bag strap are suddenly on his right side. In season 17, episode 13, Joe drops some ice cream on the floor while eating it. But in the following shot, the fallen ice cream is nowhere to be seen. In season 5, episode 12, a background character had a mustache, but in the next scene, it's gone. In season 3, when Lois lifts the fridge, there's nothing stuck to it. However, when she puts it down, a note magically appears on it. Finally, in one episode, Meg wears a watch when Lois exits a bar, but in the next shot, the watch vanishes. 5 more Family Guy animation mistakes you missed. Top 5 movie parodies in Family Guy. In season 21, episode 1, Peter played the role of Forrest Gump in a parody of the iconic film.
No running! It's for a movie! God!
In season 16, episode 1, they did a version of Breaking Bad with Peter as Walter White and Chris as Walter Jr. Next, in season 19, there was a parody of The Terminator where a version of Peter was sent from the future to hunt down Stewie. At number 2, we have a parody of Star Wars.
Obi-Wan!
Oh, you got here just in time.
In season 21, we saw a parody of The Silence of the Lambs. Top 5 movie parodies in Family Guy. Top 5 relationships Peter Griffin had. In season 4, episode 3, Peter married a piece of pie.
Okay, sign here.
5 more of the worst things Peter Griffin has done. While at Fat Camp, he mentioned that he ate some fried chicken, but confessed that he actually ate a baby.
Some fried chicken. It was a baby!
At number 4, we have the time he chased Joe in a tank and ran over his leg. While the Griffins were preparing to leave on a cruise ship, he threw a woman overboard.
Bye! Bye! Bye!
At number 2, have the time he was testing how many drinks he could have and still be able to drive.
7, 6.
In season 12, episode 11, he tried blowing a raspberry.
It's not where you do a raspberry.
I closed my eyes too early.
5 more of the worst things. Top 5 times Family Guy roasted celebrities. In season 5, episode 6, 5 more of the funniest jobs Peter Griffin had. In season 17, episode 12, he worked as a performer in the Blue Man Group.
Peter, what's wrong with your paint?
Remember when I asked for a 5-minute break?
In season 4, episode 13, he worked as Dr. Bunsen's assistant.
Agreed, Peter.
Next, he used to be a landlord owning a rat farm in his basement, making them pay the rent one way or another. In season 10, episode 20, he had a part-time job of being a violinist at a restaurant.
Give me money, give me money, give me money, give me money, give me money.
In season 18, episode 2, he used to make fart balloon animals at birthday parties.
Don't pop that, you'll throw up.
5 more of the funniest jobs Peter Griffin had. In season 17, episode 12, he worked as a performer in the Blue Man